Hello, students! Let me help you with the next part in the assignment. Remember, this is Unit 5, Lesson 2, Student-Facing Tasks, and this is Video 2 for the same assignment. I want to remind you that we have learned input-output diagrams, and inside the box is the input-output rule. Now, you're going to learn that if the input-output rule gives exactly one output, we're going to call it a function. Now you are learning functions. For a function, each allowable input has exactly one output. If the input-output rule gives you only one output, only one, exactly one, then it's a function. Let's see examples of input-output rules that could have multiple outputs or could only have one output. Okay, the directions say, this is the second activity. You see it on your screen right here. Say yes or no for each question. If yes, draw an input-output diagram. If no, give examples of two different outputs that are possible for the same input. I have it on paper and so do you. You can look at it on your paper, but I'm grading what you put in the computer. So make sure you have this program running right now. You can do it at the same time with me. Number 1, a person is 5.5 feet tall. Do you know their height in inches? Sure you do. If you know their height in feet, then multiply by 12 to get their height in inches. Go ahead and click yes. Submit your answer, yes, and then go to the next problem. On the next problem, it says, draw an input-output diagram. They mean draw an input-output diagram for that same situation. So you know the person's height is 5.5 feet. Now draw the diagram here. Inside the box is the input-output rule, which is multiply by 12. And then you'll get 66 inches. Read the directions carefully. It says draw your diagram on paper, take a picture, and upload it using the upload icon. If you do not have the ability to upload an image of your work, type diagram is on paper. I don't want you to type diagram is on paper. Don't do that. If you cannot upload a picture, then type here in the box and describe it like this. The input would be 5.5 feet. The input-output rule, or let's just say rule, the rule is multiply by 12, and the output will be 66 inches. So please do not just type that my diagram is on my paper. No, I want to see something. So you can type it in like this, input, rule, output. But it is more fun to upload your picture. Click on this photo icon right here, and it comes to this box. But before you've clicked on that, you should have already taken a picture. Draw it on paper, hold it up to your camera, click a picture, then click on this box here, go to the upload button, this little button right here. Uh-oh, let me move mine over so you can see it. There we go. This little upload button right here, and then go to your pictures. There's my picture right there. I have to select it. Select my picture from the picture folder in my computer, and then hit save. Ding, and it's going to upload your photo. So it's easier than you think to upload a photo. Take a picture first with your computer and it saves the file in your pictures files. Then submit answer. Click next problem. All right, let's keep going. Hold on, I'll get my screen set back up. Okay. A number is 5. Do you know its square? Yes, I do. That's easy. To know its square, I just multiply by itself. So yes, my answer is yes. Click yes and go to the next problem. The next problem asks you for the input-output diagram. Go ahead and draw that on your paper. The input is going to be 5. And the rule in the box is going to be, you can say it 2 ways. Square the input. Oops, bad writing. Square the input. You know, I really don't want to turn in messy work. Let me fix that bad writing there. There, square the input, or you can say multiply by itself. I think it's easier to say square the input. Then the output is going to be 5 times 5, which equals 25. 5 times 5. Remember the little dot right here means multiplication? It's the same as parentheses. That's not a decimal point. That's 5 times 5. Take a picture and then upload your picture. Or if you don't want that, then type it in like this. The input is going to be 5. The rule is going to be square the input. Or you can say multiply by itself. And the output is going to be 25. Submit your answer. Next problem. Okay, next. Number 3 on your paper. The square of a number is 16. Do you know the number? It feels like the square root is the answer. If the square is 16, then the number must be the square root of 16, right? But there are 2 different numbers as a result of taking the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is either 4 or -4, and those are 2 different numbers. So you don't know the number. I don't know the square root of 16. It could either be 4 or -14. So my answer is no. Next, give examples of 2 different outputs that are possible for the same input. Okay, so the square root of 16 is either 4 or -4. I don't know which one the answer would be. Next problem, number 4. A square has a perimeter of 12 centimeters. Do you know its area? I'm going to just write that down. P is perimeter, and that equals 12 centimeters. I'll draw a picture just to help me remember that a square has 4 equal sides. If the perimeter is 12 centimeters, remember perimeter is the length all around a square, then each side length must be 3 centimeters. If I find the side length of a square, then I can find the area because the area equals the side length squared. So that would be 3 squared. So my answer is yes. Since it's a square and all sides are the same, if I know the perimeter, I can find the side length and then I can find the area. Yes. Okay, let's draw the input-output diagram. So the input is perimeter equals 12. I'm going to write it that way. And then the rule in the box is going to be to find side length, then square the side length. That means multiply by itself. Then square it. And our output is going to be area equals 3 squared, which equals 9. You can take a picture of your input-output diagram, but you might think it's faster just to type it in. So let me do that. I'll show you what will be good. A good answer. Input is perimeter equals 12 centimeters. The rule is find the side length. And then square it to get the area. It's okay if you didn't put the math for finding the side length, that's okay. And the output is going to be the area of the square, which in this case equals 3 squared, which equals 9 centimeters. You can just copy my answer to show me that you followed along with the video. There, I've got input, rule, output. Or you can take a picture. Next one. A rectangle has an area of 16 centimeters. Do you know its length? I'm going to draw the rectangle here. Okay, if the area is 16 centimeters, you've got to remember area equals length times width. Do I know the length? No, I don't know the length. Not exactly, because it's length times width. If the area is 16 centimeters, then it could be a length equals 8 and width equals 2. But it could also be length equals 7. And then I've got to use a calculator to figure out what the width would be. If the length is 7, then that would be 16 divided by 7. Then the width would be equal to 2.2. I'll round it up to 9. So here's 2 possible outputs. The length could be 8, the length could be 7, the length could be 6. I don't know. So select no. I don't know the length. Give 2 different examples that are possible for the same input. Okay, so if the rectangle area is 16, the length could be 7, 8, 6, or even 9 centimeters. Okay, great. Next problem, number 6. You are given a number. Do you know the number that is 1/5 as big? Sure. 1/5 of any number is that number divided by 5. So this one's a little too easy for me. 1/5 of any number is that number divided by 5. And now draw the input-output diagram. It did not tell me what the input number is. It just says like any number. So you can write that down, any number. Or you can just call it the input. And the rule in the box, divide by 5. And the output is going to be 1/5 of that number. Here's another way you could write it. You could show the input is any number, then you just write x. Any number, okay, x. X is any number. And then divide by 5. And the output then is x over 5. That's 1/5 of x. You can draw a picture and take a picture or type it in. The input is any number, and I'll call it x. And the rule is divide by 5. And the output is x divided by 5. You can type it in like that, and I can see that you followed along, or take a picture of your diagram. All right, one more to go. You are given a number. Do you know its reciprocal? If it's 0, there is no reciprocal. But any other number? Yes. I know its reciprocal if I'm given a number. You have to remember what reciprocal is for this. Please remember that the reciprocal is 1 divided by the number. For example, how about the number 2/3? The reciprocal of 2/3 is 1 divided by 2/3. And then to simplify this math, you've got to remember keep, change, flip. 1 divided by 2/3, that equals 1 times 3/2. Because when you divide by a fraction, you flip over the fraction and you change to multiplication. So keep the 1 the same, change the division to multiplication, and flip the fraction. And that's how you get the reciprocal of 3/2. Let me give you a list of reciprocals really quickly. Here's going to be x, and that's any number, and then 1 over x means the reciprocal. So don't forget, 1 divided by x is the reciprocal. If x is 2/3, the reciprocal is 3/2. If x is 0.5, the reciprocal is 1 divided by 0.5, which equals 2. If the input is 7, the reciprocal is 1/7. But if the input is 0, you cannot take a reciprocal. That is undefined because you cannot divide by 0. So anyway, let me go back and answer the question. Do you know its reciprocal? Yes. Select yes on your computer. And then you have to draw an input-output diagram. So let me do my diagram really small right here. I'm going to show the input is any number x, and then 1 divided by the input. Oh man, I think it's too small. Let me get a Post-it note. There we go. Okay, input is any number x, and then the rule is divide 1 by the input. And then you'll get your output, which is 1 divided by the input. Take a picture. You can hold this right up to your camera and take a picture to submit it or type it in. The input, any number except 0. Remember, you can't take the reciprocal. Any number except 0. And the rule is divide 1 by the input. And your output is 1 over x. I'm going to put the x up here. Any number x except 0. Okay, good. You can pause it and copy me, then I'll know you followed along. This kind of assignment really isn't made to do on your own. It's something we should be discussing together. Phew! Oh, okay, next part. Tell you what, I'm going to stop this video and then restart the next one. So now go to video 3 for the next page. Video 3.